Try again. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Orange stage at ETL 2021. Thank you very much for joining us on this day 2 of the world's only hybrid event technology show. We had an amazing day yesterday, full with great speakers, and I've got absolutely no doubt that today will be exactly the same. Before we get started with Jimmy, who's our first speaker today, just a couple of bits of housekeeping. The first thing to say is the best way to hear these sessions is using the headphones that are sat on your chairs. If you do want to listen to those, you'll be able to hear the sessions in great clarity. If you do use them, if we could just ask that you leave them on the chair before you leave, and they'll get cleaned and replaced before the next session. The second thing to mention is that we are doing questions and taking questions during today's session. The best way to do that is by using Glisser, and there are 2 ways that you can do that. The first is by scanning the QR code, which is just over my right-hand shoulder. That'll take you in. You have to just input a couple of details and then feel free to ask questions as we go through. We will consolidate all of those and ask them at the end. If you're watching online, the easiest way to get there is by using the URL glsr.live/ETL21. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand over to Jimmy, who's going to do an amazing session about video, and I'll leave you to introduce yourself. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Hi, I'm Jimmy with Pitchy. Nice to be speaking with you today. So today I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about how you can use video to amplify your reach of your events, right? We'll talk about some specific examples. So just before we get into video ideas and talking a little bit about that, just to give you a little bit of background of myself and who Pitchy is. I myself am from the U.S., based in Paris with Pitchy. I've been in this space for quite a while and have seen kind of the video creation space evolve quite a bit. Pitchy's been around since 2013. We have 500 plus clients. To date, our clients have created 500,000 videos, which is pretty exciting. So we've kind of seen it all, including a lot of great event videos. So we're going to actually see some specific event video examples to help with your branding, to help with your promotion, whatever it may be that you want to use video for. So I think it's also important to note that we're all kind of living in this video era. This event, for example, it's a hybrid of in-person and online, right? If you go home or you're talking to your kids or you're talking to your family, you're spending a lot of time on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat, and video is kind of king right now. So if we can bring video into the event space even more, it can be that much more impactful. So, just a brief agenda. We're going to cover some stats in the beginning, and then we're actually going to get into some specific examples. Kind of that third line item that you see there. I think it's important to note that there's a lot of options where you don't need to be a professional. People often say, hey, I'm kind of scared of creating video by myself and I'm going to ask someone else to do it because I just don't know how to do it, right? That's now not the case anymore, which is great. So we're really trying to democratize the use of video creation, and it is possible to be able to enable anybody to do it themselves. So just a couple stats for you. I think that the 2 most important stats that I want you to look at are the ones below, right? 43% of internet users that watch a video will then visit the site source, right? Or the source site, rather. So that's to say, you have a video out on a social channel, or you have a video out on LinkedIn promoting your event. That person that watches that video all the way through is very likely to go visit the source, or even better, if you have a clickable end screen, go, subscribe to that event or whatever it may be, right? And then the other one is 95% of a video message is retained by someone watching it online versus 10% if it's text, right? If it's an article, people are going to have a hard time retaining that information versus a 60-second video that they watch out on YouTube. They're going to retain quite a bit of that, right? So that's really why video can be that much more powerful as well. And so now we're going to kind of get into the meat of it, right? Kind of the more common video types that we see, right? So I think, the first one is before your event, right? So say, Event Tech Live, if we wanted to promote this event, you could create content on Pitchy or whatever platform you may like pretty easily. Whether it's a teaser, right? We see a lot of teasers that are kind of motion design. You don't even need video footage or photography. You can just have text within it. Or it can be save the date. We see a lot of recruiting videos even on LinkedIn or out online, just promoting an event, or promoting speakers, promoting exhibitors, promoting whatever you really want, right? So if I were to click, you can kind of see two different styles. The nice thing is with our software, it's a template-based software. So you don't have to start from scratch. You start with a template, and then you can kind of fill in the blanks, right? So promoting something like, okay, on Friday, April 3rd, we're going to be talking about, how to create video content without needing to be a pro, right? The one below, you're seeing kind of same thing. You can have a date. It's promoting, something more specific at an event where you maybe reference a booth site or a room, whatever it may be. But you can kind of choose which animation you prefer. And then I think, when we look at teasers, what's really important is that you draw in the attention right away, right? You basically have 3 seconds in the beginning to capture the attention of your audience, right? Think about yourselves when you're on YouTube, when you're on LinkedIn, when you're on Instagram, unless your attention is grabbed right away, you're probably moving on, right? Event promotion, event teasers, whatever it may be, same kind of thing. A teaser is meant to be a teaser, so don't reveal everything, right? Kind of keep some close to the vest. And it can be motion design. Again, you don't need any video footage. It can just be animating your text, right? Delivering your message. I say 45 seconds. Don't make it over 1 minute. And then music's really important. You don't even need anybody speaking as long as you have a really catchy, cool song, right, to bring the audience in. And then if it is an event video, for example, make sure that you have an action item at the end. I think anytime we're talking about video, if you can have that action item at the end of your video, it just makes it so much more effective for someone to say, subscribe to a speaker or an exhibitor or an event or a talk or a job, whatever it may be, right? So then you can have kind of your event content during the event, right? The top one is one of our clients, is a big client of ours, is Nissan, right? Where you can kind of have your branding in the beginning. This is a promo video, right? But the promo video is meant to kind of promote everything that you can do, that Nissan can do, when it comes to video, right? So it can be a speaker introduction video. It can be, quick and easy interviews, interviews throughout the event. It can be, more staged interviews. And then you have kind of stand video, right? So it's a product tour or a corporate video, or like I was just talking about, kind of a promo video, which is what you're seeing up above, right? And then kind of the second one that we're looking at is what we consider to be animated infographics. This is where you're trying to animate the numbers, right? We see this a lot when you're analyzing how many people are coming through the event, how many people attended a talk, how many people are following the exhibitor. We also see it a lot kind of outside of the event space, just in terms of revealing quarterly results, annual results, kind of reviewing the numbers as a whole, right? But whatever it is, you see client interviews, expert interviews, that's a big one, and then obviously social. Social is king. It's always important to kind of put your footprint out there. You can even now on LinkedIn, you've probably seen this, you can have polling, you can have kind of challenges, you can have contests, whatever it takes to engage your audience during an event is kind of what video can help with. And then something that's not to be underestimated or overlooked is the technology that goes with creating a video, right? I think nowadays the youth knows this more than we do, in the sense that they know the hardware that you need. Any kind of professional YouTuber out there or whatever it may be, they have kind of the basics, which is really, smartphone. Nowadays, smartphones have caught up to the same level of camera quality as most professional equipment. It's kind of scary to say that, but it's true. And so you have a really good camera on your phone, then all you need is a stabilizer, a lapel microphone to pick up the audio. The audio is probably the most important, so I'd say out of all of these, The lapel microphone is really important. And then it just comes down to tripods, stabilizers, directional microphone if you're moving through an exhibition or an event, for example. The other ones that we see are if it's like a staged, interview at an event, then you want to have a ring light or spotlights or whatever you can do to enhance the lighting. But this kind of stuff can really help to make an event video or an exhibitor video look a lot more professional. And it's all stuff that you can get on Amazon, quite frankly. I mean, you can go and you can find this stuff in an electronics store wherever you want, right? So it's basic, but it's really important when you are trying to create event content or exhibitor content. And then, I think everything is mobile as well. We have an integrated mobile app, so the nice thing is to be able to connect the videos that you are shooting, say, at a show like this, and then draw it right into your video creation process. So however you are creating content, it's always important to have a link with your mobile app or your mobile device and be able to bring that content into your creation process, right? I was at a different event on Tuesday. What I did is I shot a few bits of footage on my phone within the Pitchy mobile app. I then brought that into the creation process. I put together a 60-second video. I threw it out onto LinkedIn. That whole video creation process took about 15 minutes, right? So it can be authentic and be genuine, but having the content be shot on my phone and then right in the creation process made it super easy. And then we see a lot of kind of what we consider to be retrospectives, right? Again, L'Oreal is another large client of ours. Again, this is a template called Smart Circle where they were doing kind of a recap video, right? If we were to take the example of Event Tech Live, you could do this just as easily, kind of use the same template and do a recap of the event, right? And it really depends on kind of what animation you want. You kind of see the two different styles, where the top one, it's using more still photography. The middle one, it's using a little bit more, live action video and kind of keyword overlay. This was an event in Paris. But it's just as easy to bring the footage in. And then the last one that you're seeing is actually footage from our Pitchy team. We had a big event down in Monaco last week, where they kind of went through the day, right? So it's just kind of advertising the event via video. Again, a quick video, but it's shot kind of from the first person so that people can get a real view of what that event was like. And I thought that was pretty cool. So whether it's retrospectives, kind of replays, making of, as you're kind of seeing on the bottom, or just thanking the people that helped you with the exhibition or the event, whatever it may be, video is a great way to engage people before, during, and in this case, after. And then, I'm going to get into a few things that I typically hear in my world. Just because people, again, are very apprehensive, I think, to taking video into their own control. I've been doing this for a number of years, and there's kind of reoccurring topics that I hear quite a bit. I think the top one is I don't know how to do it, so I'm just gonna have someone else do it, right? I think when you're talking about agencies or in-house teams or more complicated software, then you just think, I can't do it. It's up to someone else to take over the ownership. But then you lose time. You're kind of emailing back and forth. There's always a cost associated, right? This is why Pitchy is trying to democratize the use of video creation. Then you talk about timing, right? Again, we don't all have enough time in our lives. You need to be able to get content out the door quickly and easily and still have it be professional, still have it maintain your branding, your colors, your fonts, right? And then you can avoid the cost, right? We hear quite a bit, it's expensive. I'm worried that if I do it myself, it's not going to be professional enough. I'm worried that it's not going to maintain or respect our branding guidelines. We talked about companies like Nissan and L'Oreal in the presentation. Those guys have huge branding requirements. So we can kind of match all those with the video creation software. And so, again, it's important to note that there are plenty of options out there when it comes to video creation. me personally, I think it comes down to personal preference. Some people do like those tools that are, very complicated. They'll have a million bells and whistles, and quite frankly, there's hundreds of options out there. There's apps, there's softwares, there's in-house teams, there's agencies. What I've found with us at Pitchy is that it's still that kind of level of professionalism that a lot of people are looking for, but it's quick and it's easy and it's cost effective. So, whether it's video styling, whether you're taking footage from an event, or you're just doing a teaser where you're just bringing in text, right? Depending on where you're putting it, right? You can have it in square format if you're advertising out on Instagram, horizontal for YouTube or LinkedIn, vertical if you're trying to get people on their phones. And then the other nice thing is being able to have everything built in. I think that's also really important when you are trying to create content, is have a one-stop shop. Is the tool that I'm using going to give me the ability to have stock photography, stock video footage, stock music, right? All built into one, so that if I don't have that stuff, I can just leverage what they have. That's really important to pay attention to. And then with us, what we find to be really beneficial is having kind of personalized support, much like you would get if you were to go to work with an agency, for example, to be able to talk to someone to say, I'm creating this event content, I need to know what kind of animation I need, what kind of template I should choose. And then in addition to that, you see automatic subtitles or voiceovers. Those are kind of more common things that we see when creating video content. I have a lot of clients that, they're one of the biggest reasons they chose to work with us is for the automatic subtitling. They're doing, an event teaser or an event retrospective, and they want to share that with the company or share that with all the employees or whatever it may be. And they want to roll that out in 20 languages. The cool thing is if you have like an expert speaker or you're doing an exhibit or recap, you can automatically subtitle that and still correct those subtitles manually pretty easily and pretty quickly. So pretty powerful stuff. So I know that, I think I have 30 minutes. I tend to not always use the 30 minutes that I have. I think that nowadays our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter, so I try and kind of pack everything into the time that I have. But, if this is something that is of interest and you want to learn more, this is why my contact info is up there. And for all of you that might be attending, virtually, it's an opportunity to learn a little bit more about how easy and fast video creation can be as well. But feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or via email, whatever it may be. Happy to show you more. And then we are here as an exhibitor too. So if you do want to swing by the booth, we're 4102, I think. You can come by the booth and learn a little bit more. So that's me, and I appreciate your attention.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Really, really insightful. I know there is a couple of questions that have pitched up through the Glisser platform,
Cool.
so we'll run through those if we can. As I mentioned earlier, if anyone does have any questions, you can submit your questions using Glisser at glsr.live/ETL21. A couple of questions that have come up so far whilst you were speaking. I think one of the points I really took away is how important video is on social, and also how full social is of how many videos are there. Do you have any tips from either your platform or just more generally, and how you make your videos stand out in that space?
So I think so kind of the top question. I think that 3-second rule is important. However you're going to do it, you got to grab their attention in 3 seconds, because quite frankly, they will just keep scrolling past them. If it's professional, then I think branding is really important. Making sure that they see that it's a professional kind of logo or the colors and the fonts. Or if it's kind of like exhibition or an event footage, put the best footage first. Or you can have something that's provocative. If you're scrolling and you have a question that people pause on and captures their attention. Sometimes, I think in this presentation, it's capturing their attention with a question. So there's a couple different tricks. I think whatever you put, your first 3 seconds are the most important.
Amazing. Do you think, and this isn't up there, but do you think it's possible to plan viral plan something that just captures the imagination and runs away, or is it just the luck of the draw a little bit?
No, I think it is. I think it's possible to plan viral. I think it comes down to how funny or how engaging your content can be. I think when things do go viral nowadays, I think humor is kind of the best way to do it, and that's kind of what we see going viral. So I think if you are thoughtful about your content, you do have kind of the power to determine how far that content's going to go. So.
Amazing, perfect, thank you. And one of the things we talked about yesterday on this stage is actually how much data is used in all of technology, but and the knock-on effects of that. And I think creating video can be sort of really storage and data intensive. What are the best ways for managing that, managing files, different versions, the different processes, and does the app allow you to do that as well?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I think the benefit of a SaaS software, of being online, is that there's no download that you need to do. I mean, think of something like Pitchy as, yes, it's a video creation software, but you can also share on Pitchy, right? It's just like a Vimeo, it's just like a YouTube, right? If you are trying to roll something out, so you avoid the challenge of needing to have a certain file size. Now, when you're talking about like extracting that video once you create it on something like Pitchy, then it's an MP4 file, then you get into file size. And unfortunately, there's no real magic bullet. I think if it's in low res, it helps with the file size. If it's in high res, then sometimes it can be a little bit heavier. We have a lot of people that will download it and then go put it out onto LinkedIn or YouTube. And so there are tools out there to help reduce the size of the file. That is done outside of Pitchy. But there's plenty of options, because that's something that comes up quite a bit as well. As if we have a bunch of content, how do we deal with file size? And the best way to do it is make sure that it's online, that you're sharing online. So.
Perfect, amazing, thank you. I think that brings us to the end of our questions and the end of the session. Just a massive thank you for everyone that's here and everyone watching online for joining us on the Orange stage. We've got a host of exciting sessions running throughout the day, so please do take the opportunity to pop back. And all that remains is to thank Jimmy from Pitchy. As he said, they are here, so if you have any further questions or want to explore the app in a bit more detail and you're here in person, please feel free to go and do that. But all that remains is to say have a lovely day at EventTech Live, day number 2. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.